My name is Keshwani. There's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT grammar questions out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problems that we are about to solve are the ones that you will find on page number 775. Please turn to it. Page number 775, and today is our lesson number 32. These are a set of 11 questions. We did the first 4 yesterday. Those were the easy ones, and today we'll do the medium and the hard ones. The medium one in the first column, and then the second column, the hard ones. So on a scale of 1 through 11, number 5 is what we are about to do. It says great literature it says such as great literature such as Greek tragedies or the novels of Jane Austen endures by their speaking directly to each new generation of readers, to which I will simply say to readers. So here's our sentence. Let's see what we can do here. Great literature such as Greek tragedies and the novels of Jane Austen, that part that we see in the middle between the two commas here, actually serves no purpose. It is there simply to fill up space. It is there simply to distract you from what is really going on. We don't need it. It serves no purpose. Let's just ignore it. So now the sentence reads, great literature endures. Now keep in mind, literature is singular. Which is why it says endures. Great literature endures by what? By not theirs, but its. By its speaking directly to readers. That there needs to be changed to its. This is all we will do at this point. That's all. Let's not worry about making it more complicated. Your answers should have been covered at this point. I always forget to remind you. You must cover your answer choices with one hand, have the pencil ready in the other hand. Do not look at the answer choices as you're fixing it. At this point, we have fixed the sentence. Even if it's not fixed the way they exactly want it, it's close enough. Our job now is to lift our hand and pick one answer choice that comes closest to it. What we're looking for, the crucial thing that we're looking for is this error here. It should not say there. That pronoun is plural pronoun. Literature is singular. It should say its. It's speaking directly to readers. Let's see what we can do. B, C, D, and E. There is no point in looking at A because A simply repeats what is stated in the sentence. B says, by its speaking direct and fresh. That's the problem here, by speaking direct and fresh. Speaking is a verb. And when you're describing an action, a verb, we need whatever that adds to the verb is called, that's why it's called adverb. And adverbs usually end in ly. Speaking directly is speaking freshly. Even if it sounds weird to you, even if it sounds strange to your ears, it doesn't alter the fact that that is the proper grammar. Speaking freshly, speaking directly. Many a times I've heard people telling other people, drive safe. I have yet to figure out what that means. What the hell does it mean? Drive safe. Drive safely. You hear people screaming to their children, play nice. It's very difficult to play nice. Play nicely. You understand? So that's what's wrong with B. B is no good. It doesn't have adverbs. C says because it speaks directly and freshly. There you go. Because it speaks. I should have crossed out B. I should have crossed out B just now. Because we don't have A. B is gone. A. There is no point in looking at A because A is the wrong part. C says because it speaks directly and freshly. There you go. C is our answer. Because it speaks directly and freshly. What does this say? Because of speaking direct and fresh. No good. Again, we are back to direct and fresh. Since they speak. Again, since they speak, it's not they. It's literature. It's singular. So there is no point in reading the rest of the sentence, because rest of the stuff, because it starts out in the wrong way. I'm talking about answer choice E, because it says since they speak. Literature is not they, literature is it. Number 6. Number 6. The services of the architect IMP are always very much in demand. Alright? His services are always in demand. What would your ears expect to hear at this point? If the sentence starts out by saying that his services are always in demand, naturally your ears expect to hear the reason why, to which you will say his services are always in demand because. We need to hear the word because, and then you go on to explain why. Because, so that's the first mistake here, because the word they use here is considering. Cross out the word considering. Considering has to go. Your answer should be covered at this point. Do not look at the answer choices, as I always remind you. Do you understand? So the word considering has to go. It has to be replaced by word because, and then let's see what this says the rest. Let's see what the reasons are. Because his buildings combine both beauty, because his buildings combine both beauty. Now beauty is a noun. If it's a noun, the parallel structure tells us that the second part that follows must also be noun, because his buildings combine beauty and an affordable price. And an affordable price, which is no good. We need a noun, because his buildings combine beauty and affordability. If I misspelled it, don't worry about it. That's not the point. That's not the bloody point, whether or not I spell it correctly. Just understand the concept. So, sentence starts out by saying that the services of this particular architect, IMP, I hope you've heard of him. His latest work was in Paris. He did the glass pyramid in Paris. He has done many different projects, but anyway, it's a very famous architect. And they're saying that his services are always in demand because why? Because he combines both beauty and affordability in his structures, in his design. Now we're going to lift our hand. We're going to lift our hand, look at the answer choices, and pick the one that comes closest to it. Notice how we say it. We're going to pick the one that comes closest to it. We are not doing all this work, as I always remind you. We are not doing all of this work in the hope that what we do here is going to be the exact same thing in the correct answer choice. That is not the point. We're not hoping that we're going to see the exact same structure, exact same words, wordings, and so forth. That's not the point. We're trying to look for. We're going to lift our hand and pick the one that comes closest to it. Let's see what B says. B starts out with the word considering. That's no good. It has to start out with the word because. And E starts out with being. That's no good. So E is gone. It's either C or D. C says because his building combined beauty and affordability. There you go. Because his building combined beauty and affordability. And D goes on and on forever for 2 lines. I'm not even going to bother reading it. It's just too silly. No. Answer is C. Because your job is to be concise as possible. Don't be verbose. Verbosity is not what they're looking for. That is not what the good writing commands. That is not what the good writing expects from you. Good writing is one that is as concise as possible and at the same time quite clear. It doesn't leave any ambiguity. Those are the two objectives that you're trying to achieve. Avoid ambiguity, and at the same time don't use too many words. You understand? Number 7. The tragic story of Paolo, I don't know how to pronounce it, and Francesca. The story of P and F was the subject of a poem and a symphony. Being popular, being popular throughout the 19th century. Now, as I have always reminded you, for those of you who have been watching these videos for a while now, today is our day number 32. If you have watched the first 31 days, many a times I have reminded you that my handwriting on the blackboard, to call it atrocious, would be very generous. It is beyond atrocious. And I don't care, because I'm assuming, as I always explain to you, my logic behind it, I'm assuming, I'm taking it for granted, that you have the book in front of you and that you're reading the sentence with me. So there is no such thing as sitting there and telling me I cannot read what you wrote down on the blackboard, but what I wrote down on the blackboard is the exact bloody thing that you have it in front of you. Read it yourself. Sometimes I leave out words in the sentence. Sometimes I do editing in the sentence to make it a little bit, to leave out the boring bits, as I call it. Just concentrate on the juicy bits. So here we go. This is how the sentence is given to us. Our job is to now make a decision whether or not this sentence is good the way it is, or if you feel that it is awkward, what should we do? The problem with this sentence is that the entire bloody thing is underlined. When the entire sentence is underlined, you have to take your time. They are very annoying. If it's just one or two words that are underlined, those are the easiest ones, because you just have to check that, see if it's okay or not, and make the correction, you're done. Here the entire bloody thing is underlined, as I said. Am I correct? The whole sentence is underlined? That's right. Exactly. So let's see what we can do. So we have to understand what the sentence is saying here. What is it that they're trying to convey here? What is it that the sentence is trying to convey here? What is it the sentence is trying to say? What is the meaning of the sentence? And if it's written in an awkward way, then we have to fix it. The story of P&F was the subject of a poem and a symphony, being popular throughout the 19th century. To which you would say, what the hell? This sentence is not written very well. It's a very awkward sentence. Can you tell me what they're trying to say? Can you tell me what the sentence is trying to say? What the writer is trying to convey here is the fact that during the 19th century, when the story of P&F was very popular, it was made into a poem and a symphony. That's what it's trying to say. Let's see what we can do. And that's exactly how I'm going to write it, and then we're going to pick the answer choice that comes closest to it. During the 19th century, I cannot write. During the 19th century, when the story of P&F was very popular, it was made, it was subject, it was the subject of a poem and a symphony. Now we are not claiming that this is exactly how the correct answer is going to be written, but this is enough for us to be able to look at the right answer like that, without having to struggle with all the 5 answer choices. Let's see what we can do. B, C, D, and E. We leave out the A because A, the way it's written, we don't like it obviously. B says, the tragic story of P and F was popular throughout the 19th century, where it is being made. Oh, what the hell? Where it is being made? No. C says, the tragic story of P and F was popular throughout the 19th century, when it was the subject of both a poem and a symphony. One more time, I'm going to read it. C says, I'm comparing this to what is written here and what is on the blackboard. The story of P and F was popular throughout the 19th century, when it was the subject of both a poem and a symphony. Let's see what we said. During the 19th century, when the story of P and F was very popular, it was subject of a poem and a symphony. I think it comes very close. It comes very close. I'm not going to cross it out. Let's just leave it there, and let's look at D and E, because our job is to pick the best answer. And if D and E are no good, then C must be the answer. P and F, whose tragic story, there you go, that's the end of that part, whose tragic story, okay, because the comma, I don't know, let's keep reading, was the subject of a popular poem and a symphony throughout the 19th century. No, that's not the point. It was not the subject of a poem, it was not the subject of a popular poem and a symphony throughout the 19th century. No, that's not it. It was famous throughout the 19th century, and therefore it was made into a poem and a symphony during that period. But there is nowhere in the sentence it said that it was popular throughout the 19th century. Whose tragic story was the subject of a popular poem. Being the subject of a poem and a symphony. No, that's not good. I'm going to go with C. The answer is C. Let me take a look at D one more time. P and F, whose tragic story was the subject of a popular poem and a symphony throughout the 19th century. No, it's C. The answer choice is C. Between C and D, C is much better. Next one. As I said, when the entire sentence is underlined, those are very annoying and they are also very time consuming. But you have to slow down, otherwise you're going to muck it up. You understand? Muck it up with an M, not an F. Number 8. C.G. Young, a Swiss psychiatrist, who's renowned as a pioneer in the field, almost equals that of Sigmund Freud. And the part that is underlined goes from here to the psychologist who's renowned. Write the entire part. Do you see a problem in the underlined portion? They mention his name, C.G. Young, and then they go on to say a Swiss psychologist. What's the problem here? The problem here is that it has no verb. C.G. Young, we need a verb here. It's not a comma. Instead of a comma, we need C.G. Young was a Swiss psychologist who is renowned as a pioneer in the field of psychology, almost equals that of Sigmund Freud. That's all there is. That's the only mistake here. It doesn't have a verb. He was a pioneer in the field. Do you understand? But you cannot go around saying he, a Swiss guy, you cannot go around saying he, a Swiss guy. We need a verb here. He was a Swiss guy. Let's see what we can do. Let's look at the answer choices. Lift your hand now. B, C, D, and E. Again, B doesn't have the verb. We say C.G. Young, comma, and then who was. That's no good. We need was. A Swiss with a renown. No. D says C.G. Young was a Swiss psychologist who's renowned as a pioneer. There you go. That's the one. And E is no good because it starts out with a Swiss. That's no good. The answer is D. The answer is D. What does renown mean? Renown means to be famous. And the noun is renounce. If you are renowned, you have renounce. We learned this word renown on the very first day of our vocabulary lessons. For those of you who are interested in improving your vocabulary, on my channel, at my channel stage, you will find vocabulary videos. On the very first day, we learned this word. Just type in SAT vocabulary words, day 1, and you will learn this word, along with a whole bunch of other words that will help you improve your vocabulary if you're interested in getting a decent score in the reading part of the exam. What we're doing here, of course, is for the writing portion of the exam. If you're also interested in improving your math skill and getting a decent score in the math portion, the key there is to practice as many math problems as you can do from the book that I showed you in the beginning. The book, of course, has 10 exams, as you know. This book has 10 real SAT Do every single math problem in this book if you want to prepare for the math portion. This is the best source of material in the market because it contains real exam. Why practice on the fake exams? Practice on the real SAT. It has 10 exams. And on my channel, you will find, again I go again on my channel, at my channel, you will find solution to every single math problem that is in this book. You understand? There are 150 videos that you will find there. Anyway, we're done with all of that. Let's go on to number 9. Many people think taxes are too high. Alright, fair enough. Many people think taxes are too high. Comma. Consequently, some of the people do not report all income. Many people think taxes are too high. Consequently, some, we do not need this part. This is unnecessary. The sentence will flow much better. Sentence will flow much smoother if you were to simply say, many people feel the taxes are too high. Consequently, some do not report all the income. That's it. We don't have to say some of the people. We already said it's people. Consequently, some do not report all the income. That's it. We're done. Let's lift our hand and see what we can do here. We're going to find again, as always, the one that comes closest to it. B, C, D, and E. B says, therefore, some of the people, no, we do not have some of the people. C says, many people feel taxes are too high. Consequently, some do not report. There you go. The answer is C. What does D say? Some people do not report. No, we need the word consequently to make the connection between the cause and effect. D doesn't have the word, that connection. And therefore not reporting. E is even worse. E goes on to say, therefore not reporting. No. The sentence is very straightforward, very simple. Many people feel that taxes are too high. Consequently, some do not report all the income. So there you go. Alright, let's go on to the penultimate one, number 10. I can't help it. I have to get it out of my system, even though we have come across this word many a times. The word that we just used was penultimate. Penultimate is a very fancy way of saying second to the last. SAT vocabulary word it is. Penultimate, and we learned it, we covered it in our vocabulary videos, in our vocabulary lessons. On day number what? Just give me a second, I'm looking for it. Day number 11. It's a good thing I did not go with my memory because I was about to say day 27. It's day number 11. Again, type in vocabulary words, day 11, SAT vocabulary words that is, SAT vocabulary words, and day 11. You can always, of course, search by my name here. Just type in Keshwani and then vocabulary day 11. It will pop right up. And you will learn this word, as I said before, along with a whole bunch of other useful, good words to know for SAT. And not just for SAT, for life in general. Makes you a better reader, makes you a better speaker, makes you a better writer. Having a good vocabulary is a big plus. Number 10. Number 10 says, just as Ireland has produced, let me start again, just as Ireland has produced many famous writers and Netherlands an abundance of famous painters, so Finland has provided a large number of famous architects. How does one improve this sentence? To which the answer is, one does not. It is a beautifully written sentence. There is nothing wrong with this sentence. One more time. The answer is A. One more time. Just as Ireland has produced many famous writers, and Netherlands an abundance of famous painters, so Finland has provided a large number of famous architects. That's it. Very nice sentence. Beautiful sentence. It doesn't need any change, it doesn't need any improvement, it doesn't need any correction. The answer is A. Number 11. The very last one. Readers of the novice writer's recent book have said that it is, instead of saying it is, let's say his work, because I left out the writer part. Readers have said that his work is at once frustrating because of its chaotic structure. Now, well, let me write down the way they wrote it actually before we worry about fixing it. But its originality is still a delight. There are two things wrong with this sentence. And the way we're going to look at it is by going back and rereading the sentence. Sometimes you have to do that. So you have to read the sentence one more time. Sometimes in difficult cases you may have to read the sentence 3 times. You may have to reread it twice. Of course, if you're rereading it twice, you're reading it altogether 3 times. Let's see what it says here. Readers have said that his work is at once frustrating. His work is at once, at the same time, simultaneously. At the same time, it is frustrating. Why? Because of its chaotic structure. Now, the very next word that I expect to hear, my ears expect to hear, is and, not but. His work is chaotic. Well, his work is frustrating rather. His work is frustrating because I shouldn't have underlined it, because underline has a very special meaning in our work, in our line of business. Underlining a structure of the sentence has a very special meaning, so we won't do that. Readers have said that his work is at once frustrating because of his chaotic structure and what? And that's the first problem that is here, not but, we need the word and this part has to be changed into a noun. Because we talked about it is frustrating because of its chaotic structure. Chaotic structure is a noun. And a delight and delightful. How about that? And delightful because of its originality. There you go. His work is at once frustrating because of its chaotic structure and delightful because of its originality. That should do it, I think. That should suffice. Let's lift our hand now. We're going to lift our hand now. We're going to go through the answer choices one by one. This is a hard question, so you have to take your time and see what we can do. We're going to find the one that comes closest to it. B says, although. We never said although. We said and. Our word was and, not although. C does start out with and, so that's a good sign. And it is delightful in its originality. That's not what we said. It is delightful not in its originality, but it is delightful because of its originality. C is no good. D does not start out with, it starts out with while. We never said any while. We're looking for something that starts out with and, right here. E says, and delightful because of its originality. And delightful, oh there you go, because of its originality. Voila! I think we hit a jackpot. What do you know? That was it. And that's how we do it. Which is why it's important that you practice. Practice as much as you can. The more problems you do like these, the better you will get at it. You will begin to get a hang of what it is that they're looking for, and you will build the accuracy and speed. Do you understand? But that's the only way to do it. practice and practice and practice some more. You understand? I will see you tomorrow, where we will start the new type of questions that you see on the following page. 12 through 29, there are 18 of those. Those are different type of questions, and because they are different type of questions, they have different difficulty scale. The difficulty scale starts from 12, goes all the way up to 29. There are 18 of them. Therefore, the first 6 are going to be easy, then the next 6 are going to be medium, the last 6 are going to be hard among those 18 questions. We'll work on those tomorrow. Okay? Bye now.